Hey, what's up guys, guille.ruizmedia here, and today I'm going to be showing you, in my opinion, what the best level of undialedness is without getting too dangerous with it. And I'm just going to show you the way that I like to ride my scooter, since I like to ride it a little bit looser than most people do. And yeah, I'm basically going to show you how much you should and how much you shouldn't, because if you do leave your scooter really loose, it might be dangerous and a bolt might come out and you could fall and hurt yourself, which would be bad. So yeah, what I'm going to do first on this scooter is I'm going to adjust the SCS to the tightness that I want. And so yeah, I'm just going to untighten this. Make sure that when you untighten your SCS, you untighten it evenly. So what I like to do is I like to do top being the first one, then the third one, then the second, and then the fourth. And then what this does is it makes it untighten evenly so that you don't create any stress on the clamp and you don't stretch it in any part that it's not supposed to, because eventually what this will do is snap your clamp, which happened to my friend Nico. When he bought my flavor clamp off me, he put it on wrong and it basically snapped in like 5 minutes. So yeah, just be really careful with that. It's not really that huge of an issue. It was more with the flavor clamp, since it's so light and it's missing so much metal, and it has a couple of holes that are really big. But yeah, basically just untighten it until you see that you can take your bars out. Try not to untighten it too much, because you're actually going to want it to be a little bit tight so that it can hold onto your fork. So once you've got the bars out, like I have just done, you just toss those to the side because there's nothing really to dial there. And what I wanted to show you guys is the way that I take out my compression bolt and washer, since I know that a lot of people would just rather not ride that, because even though for some people it might be that it's weighing your scooter down, for me it's more that if you leave it a little bit too loose, it'll eventually start coming out and you'll have the compression washer and the bolt just moving around in your bars, and it's a really unpleasant thing. So yeah, just slowly take that out and make sure that you keep your clamp and your wheels straight, and make sure that they don't like separate, because then that will create a little bit of problem. It'll move up and down basically. So yeah, here we have it. That's the bolt with the little washer, and you just take that out. And now what you have to do basically is you have to make sure that your clamp and your fork are both straight. And now you're going to want to tighten the bottom two bolts a little bit. Not too much, just to make sure that it won't move around too much while you're trying to put your bars on. Alright, so now that I'm pretty sure that I've gotten that straight and it's all working well, you just have to make sure that there's no space here that's not letting it compress down, because obviously you don't want it to be moving around too much. So you can just hit it against the ground a couple times, make sure it's all good, make sure it doesn't wiggle around. Another thing we can do here is if it is a little bit loose, you can put the compression bolt back in and tighten it so that it'll bring the fork back up, and then you can take it right back out. And since you've tightened it up a little bit more, it won't disalign when you take it out. Alright, so you should tighten it strong for that part, but once you're done with that, you can just take it right out. Now that you've done that, all you have to do is you put your scooter on the floor, you make sure to put your shim in there, and you put it in so that it fits well. And then you just slide your bars in. It might be a little bit difficult since you've pre-tightened this slightly, but it should fit right in. So yeah, once you have your bars fully in, make sure that they are aligned correctly. This is a really important step, because if your bars aren't aligned, then it's probably going to be pretty difficult to do your tricks. And yeah, now basically all you have to do is tighten this up, and you're pretty much done with the SCS. So yeah, tighten these up until you can't tighten them anymore, because if not, obviously your bars are going to come out and it's going to be terrible. And now you can see my bars are spinning much more freely and much faster, and it is a little bit more undialed. My floor has rug on it, so it won't really sound true to what it would actually sound like. Now we are moving on to the back end of the scooter. Something I would never do is untighten my chetty or my brake, because the brake, it just sounds bad, and the chetty, it can be a little bit dangerous because it could slide back and then stop your whole run. But what I usually like to do is I like to untighten it a little bit until I can realize that the wheel is wriggling around, and then tighten it to the point where you can feel it moving around, but just a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys an example of this sound to see if you can hear it. This is a sound that you have to be looking for. So you do that, and then you tighten it until you can hear it just a little bit, not take it completely away, but just so that you can hear it a tiny little bit. And then that will be pretty much, for me, the best level of dialedness that you can have. So yeah, here you can tell that it barely does move. And then it is really smooth when you do it like this. Let's do another little drop test. And yeah, it's already beginning to sound a little bit better. Yeah, now for the front end of the scooter, I wouldn't untighten anything, especially with these tilt F5 axles, because it's really easy for them to fall out, and I just wouldn't really recommend it because you can drop it and then it'll ruin pretty much your whole day. You won't be able to ride anymore. So yeah, I like to keep my front wheel relatively dialed, but the back wheel and the compression are already enough to make it sound good. So before I end this video, I wanted to explain a little bit about how or why I like to ride my scooter undialed, because I know that a lot of you are, let's say, park riders or even street riders who don't really understand why this is a thing and why people like it so much. So the reason why I like to ride my scooter undialed, one of the times when I switched my headset, I didn't have, I think it was one of the top caps at the top, and my scooter was rattling a lot, and to me it just seemed like the scooter was much looser, and it gives you a feeling of your scooter weighing a little bit less, and pretty much a sense of like having your scooter be a little bit more free. And you can definitely see that it's spinning much better than it was when it did have the compression bolt on, although you are sacrificing the sound, but a lot of people like that. Also, when you're doing grinds, in my opinion, it just sounds really good when you're grinding and you can hear all the metal like rattling on itself. It just, when you watch Street Parts, for example, and you see that it sounds like that, it's a really good sound. But yeah, I just thought that some of you might not understand why people would want to ride their scooter undialed, and I just wanted to show you the way that I know how to do it and the way that I think that is like safe, so that you make sure that nothing bad is going to happen. I also wanted to give a shout out to my Instagram, which I'll put right over here, so you can follow me there for any clips that I post. I haven't posted any recently, but I will in the future. So yeah, I'm going to try to make some videos this week. If I don't worry about it. I'll make some next week. And something that I've been having a little bit of trouble with recently is getting the content that I want to post and getting ideas for it. So it would really help if you left comments down below with videos that you'd like me to make. I haven't been able to ride a lot recently because it's the winter here in Spain, and so I haven't been able to go to the skate park as often, but any suggestions are welcome, and I'll make sure to try and make any of those videos that are possible. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.